Let me tell you something. There is a lie that almost everyone believes. A lie so common that people repeat it every single day without even realizing it. They wake up in the morning, look at the clock, sigh deeply and say, I wish I had more time. More time, as if time were hiding from them. As if somewhere in the world successful people had been given 28 hours while everyone else received only 24. Think about that for a moment. Every billionaire, every world champion, every artist who created masterpieces, every entrepreneur who built an empire, every parent who changed the future of their family, every person who transformed an ordinary life into an extraordinary one, they all woke up to exactly the same 24 hours you did, not 1 second more, not 1 second less. So if the amount of time is equal, why are the results so different? Because success has never been a problem of time. It has always been a problem of focus. And here's what most people don't understand. Focus isn't simply paying attention. Focus is deciding what deserves your life. Because every minute you give to something is a minute you will never get back. You are literally trading pieces of your life for whatever you choose to do today. That changes everything, doesn't it? You aren't just scrolling through your phone for an hour. You're exchanging an hour of your life. You aren't just putting off your dream until tomorrow. You're handing away another piece of your future. You aren't just saying, I'll start next Monday. You're allowing another week to disappear forever. Years ago, I met a man who worked harder than almost anyone I had ever known. He left home before sunrise. He came home after dark. He was exhausted every night. He complained constantly that he never had enough time to work on the business he dreamed of starting. One evening, I sat with him. I listened carefully. Then I asked him one simple question. Walk me through yesterday. He started talking. He spent 45 minutes watching television before work. Another hour scrolling through news and social media during breaks. Nearly 2 hours watching random videos after dinner because he said he needed to relax. By the time he finished telling me about his day, something became obvious. He didn't have a time problem. He had a focus problem. Because every day, without realizing it, he was spending nearly 4 hours feeding distractions while starving his dream. Now don't misunderstand me. Rest is important. Relaxation is necessary. Your mind needs recovery, but there is a difference between resting with purpose and escaping through distraction. One restores your energy, the other quietly steals your future. Most people don't lose their dreams because someone takes them away. They lose them one distraction at a time. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. One episode, one more video, one more excuse. Until suddenly, 5 years have disappeared. And then they look in the mirror and ask themselves, what happened? Nothing happened overnight. Everything happened daily. Success rarely arrives in dramatic moments. Failure rarely announces itself loudly. Both are built quietly, brick by brick, choice by choice, habit by habit. Think about a farmer. Does the harvest appear because the farmer wished for it? No, the harvest begins months before anyone can see it. Seeds are planted beneath the surface. Water is poured. Weeds are removed. The work continues even when there is no visible reward. And then one day, people look at the field and say, what an amazing harvest. They admire what they can see. They never witnessed the countless focused days that made it possible. Your future works exactly the same way. People will one day admire your success. They won't see the mornings when you wanted to sleep but got up anyway. They won't see the evenings when everyone else was wasting time while you were learning a new skill. They won't see the weekends you invested instead of escaped. They won't see the lonely moments when discipline became your closest companion. They will only see the harvest. They will call you lucky. But you will know better because luck had very little to do with it. Focus built it. Let me ask you something that may make you uncomfortable. If someone secretly recorded your last 7 days, Not your intentions, not your goals, not your vision board, just your actions. Would the recording prove that your dreams are important to you? Or would it prove that comfort is more important? That's a difficult question because our calendar never lies, our screen time never lies, our habits never lie. Our daily choices reveal our real priorities. Not the priorities we talk about, the priorities we actually live. Here's what I've learned after watching successful people for many years. The difference isn't intelligence. I've met brilliant people living average lives. The difference isn't talent. I've seen talented people waste gifts that others would have treasured. The difference isn't opportunity. Many people receive incredible opportunities and still accomplish very little. The difference is this: focused people protect their attention the way others protect their money. Think about your attention as your greatest investment. Where attention goes, energy follows. Where energy flows, results grow. If your attention is scattered across 100 different things every day, your life becomes scattered too. Imagine trying to light a piece of paper using sunlight on an ordinary day. The sunlight touches everything. It warms the ground. It shines on buildings. It reaches the trees. But nothing catches fire. Now place a magnifying glass over that same sunlight. Suddenly, all that scattered energy gathers into one tiny point. Within moments, the sun didn't become stronger. Its focus became stronger. You are no different. Your potential isn't missing. Your energy isn't gone. Your dreams haven't disappeared. They're simply scattered across too many unnecessary places. Too many notifications. Too many opinions. Too many arguments. Too many distractions, disguised as entertainment. Too many commitments that have nothing to do with the person you're trying to become. You don't need more hours. You need a magnifying glass. You need to gather your energy. You need to decide what deserves your best attention. Because every yes you say to something unimportant becomes a no to something extraordinary. Every unnecessary commitment quietly steals time from your purpose. Every distraction charges interest. Not financial interest, life interest. Imagine putting $1 into an account every day. At first it doesn't seem significant, but over time it grows. Habits work exactly the same way. Every focused hour is a deposit. Every disciplined morning is a deposit. Every book you finish is a deposit. Every workout is a deposit. Every difficult conversation you finally have is a deposit. Every promise you keep to yourself is a deposit. Most people underestimate how powerful small daily deposits become. They want dramatic change. Life usually offers gradual transformation. And gradual transformation lasts. I remember hearing about a woman who wanted to change her life. She wasn't wealthy. She wasn't famous. She wasn't exceptionally gifted. She worked a regular job. She had children to raise, bills to pay, responsibilities that never seemed to end. She wanted to write a book. For years, she kept saying she didn't have time. One evening, she stopped asking for more time. Instead, she asked a different question. What can I focus on for just 30 minutes every day? 30 minutes, not 3 hours, not an entire weekend. 30 focused minutes, no phone, no television, no excuses. Every evening after the children went to sleep, she sat at a small table with an old notebook. Some nights she wrote 1 page, some nights only half a page. Some nights she was so tired, she thought about quitting, but she remembered something important. Progress is measured by consistency, not intensity. Months passed, then a year. Eventually, that notebook became a manuscript. That manuscript became a published book. People later asked her, "How did you find the time?" She smiled. "I didn't find time. I found focus." Those words contain more wisdom than most people realize. Because time is never found. Time is allocated. Focus is chosen. And every single morning, whether you recognize it or not, life places 24 fresh hours into your hands and quietly asks one question: What will you give your attention to today? Most people answer that question accidentally. The few who build extraordinary lives answer it intentionally. And that's why most people never stop long enough to realize that every day is quietly asking them to vote for the person they are becoming. Let me explain what I mean. Every action you take is a vote. Every morning you wake up and choose to get out of bed instead of hitting the snooze button, you're casting a vote. Every time you pick up a book instead of your phone, you're casting a vote. Every time you keep a promise to yourself after you've already broken 10 before, you're casting another vote. And eventually, those votes decide the outcome of your life. Not one giant decision, thousands of tiny ones. Here's what most people don't understand. They believe confidence comes first. They believe motivation comes first. They believe inspiration comes first. But that's rarely how life works. Action comes first. Then confidence follows. Think back to when you learned how to ride a bicycle. Were you confident before you climbed onto it? Of course not. You were nervous. You were uncertain. You were afraid of falling. Confidence wasn't the reason you rode the bicycle. Confidence was the reward for getting back on after falling. The same principle applies to every dream you'll ever pursue. People wait until they feel ready. But readiness is often born from movement, not waiting. There is a dangerous habit that quietly destroys potential. It's called emotional decision-making. You wake up and ask yourself, do I feel like working today? Do I feel like exercising today? Do I feel inspired today? And because the answer changes every morning, your future changes with it. Successful people ask a different question. What needs to be done? Whether they feel like it or not. Because feelings are visitors. Commitment is a resident. Feelings come and go like weather. Some mornings the sky is bright. Some mornings storms roll in. But imagine a pilot refusing to fly simply because clouds appeared. Know the destination still matters. And your destination must matter more than today's emotions. I learned something years ago from an old craftsman. He spent over 40 years building furniture entirely by hand. His work was extraordinary. Every chair, every table, every cabinet. People traveled from distant towns just to buy something he had created. One day, I asked him the secret behind the quality of his work. He smiled. Then he picked up a piece of wood. He ran his hand slowly across its surface. He said, most people rush because they're thinking about finishing. I focus because I'm thinking about becoming. Those words stayed with me because every project is shaping two things, the result and the person creating the result. If you rush through life, constantly distracted, constantly divided, constantly searching for shortcuts, even if you occasionally reach a goal, who have you become? But when you approach each day with attention, with patience, with discipline, you're not only building success is building you. Every difficult morning is strengthening something invisible. Every distraction you refuse is strengthening something invisible. Every promise you keep to yourself is strengthening something invisible. Character. And character is the foundation beneath every lasting achievement. People admire success. Life rewards character because success without character is fragile. Character creates consistency. Consistency creates trust. Trust creates opportunity. Opportunity creates influence. And influence allows you to change lives beyond your own. Think about the people who inspired you most. Was it because they never struggled? No. It was because they remained focused despite their struggles. Pain has an interesting way of introducing us to ourselves. When everything is easy, anyone can stay positive, anyone can remain committed, anyone can appear disciplined. But life eventually sends every person a season where nothing goes according to plan. The business fails. The relationship ends. The money disappears. The diagnosis arrives. The rejection letter comes. The people you trusted walk away. The dream you've worked toward suddenly seems farther away than ever. And in those moments, focus becomes more valuable than talent, because pain has a voice. It whispers, "Quit. This isn't worth it. You're too late. You're too old. You're too young. Someone else is better. You've already failed. You'll probably fail again." Have you ever noticed that? Pain is an incredible storyteller. It tells convincing stories, stories that sound true, stories that feel true. But feelings are not facts. One of the greatest skills you'll ever develop is learning not to believe every thought that enters your mind. Imagine if someone knocked on your front door every hour. Would you invite every stranger inside your home? Of course not. Then why invite every negative thought into your mind? Just because a thought arrives doesn't mean it deserves a chair at your table. Some thoughts should simply pass by. That's where focus becomes your guardian. Focus says, "I know fear is speaking, but I'm listening to purpose. I know doubt is loud, but my commitment is louder. I know comfort is calling, but growth is calling too." There was a young man who desperately wanted to become a musician. He practiced when he felt inspired. Some weeks he practiced every day. Other weeks he barely touched his instrument. Years passed. He stayed average. Then he met an older musician whose performances moved audiences to tears. The young man asked him, "How do you stay motivated every day?" The older musician laughed gently. He said, "I stopped. Depending on motivation, 20 years ago, I have a schedule." What an incredible answer. Because schedules protect focus. Motivation is wonderful, but motivation is like the wind. Sometimes it's behind you. Sometimes it's against you. Sometimes it disappears completely. A schedule allows you to keep moving even when the wind is gone. That is why ordinary people often achieve extraordinary things. Not because they're extraordinary, because they become reliable. Reliable with their habits, reliable with their word, reliable with their focus. And reliability compounds. Think about water. A single drop seems powerless. But if that drop falls in exactly the same place for years, even stone begins to change. The water isn't stronger than the rock. It's simply more consistent. Your daily habits are shaping your future the same way. One focused hour may not change your life. 100 focused hours will. 1,000 focused hours certainly will. People dramatically overestimate what they can do in 1 week. They dramatically underestimate what they can become in 5 years of relentless consistency. 5 years sounds like a long time. Until 5 years pass, and they always do. The question isn't whether time will move. Time never asks permission. The question is, will your focus move with it? Or will your attention remain trapped in the same patterns? Think about how many people are exhausted today. Not because they worked too hard, because they were mentally everywhere. They started one task, checked a notification, answered a message, watched a video, remembered another responsibility, opened another tab, started another conversation. By evening, they felt busy. But they couldn't point to anything truly meaningful they had completed. Busyness has become one of the greatest disguises for a lack of direction. Being busy isn't the same as being productive. Moving isn't the same as progressing. Activity isn't always achievement. A rocking chair moves all day. It never travels anywhere. And sometimes our lives resemble that rocking chair. Constant movement. Very little progress. That is why every morning deserves a question more powerful than, what do I have to do today? Ask instead, what matters most today? Not everything deserves equal attention. Some conversations matter. Some don't. Some opportunities deserve your energy. Some only steal it. Some relationships help you grow. Some quietly encourage you to remain exactly where you are. This is one of the hardest truths you'll ever accept. Every meaningful yes requires dozens of courageous no's. No to distraction, no to comparison, no to people who only appear when they need something. No to habits that comfort you while slowly costing you the life you say you want. Because every no creates space for a greater yes. And that space, that's where transformation begins to take root. Often so quietly that you don't even notice it at first. One morning you realize you're waking up before the alarm without forcing yourself. One afternoon you notice that the work you used to avoid has become part of your identity. One evening, you catch yourself making a decision that the old version of you never would have made, and for just a second you stop and think, when did I change? But the truth is, you didn't change in that moment. You had been changing all along, one focused decision at a time, even on the days when it felt like nothing was happening, and that's one of the greatest miracles of a focused life. Transformation is almost always invisible before it becomes undeniable. A seed does not become a tree because it had one good day. It becomes a tree because it kept growing on days no one was watching. Let me ask you something. Who are you when no one is applauding? Who are you when there is no audience? Who are you when there are no likes, no comments, no recognition, no promotion, no reward? Because that person, the one no one else sees, is the person creating the future everyone else eventually will. We live in a world that celebrates outcomes. Very few people celebrate preparation. Everyone wants to stand on the stage. Few are willing to spend years practicing in an empty room. Everyone wants the championship trophy. Few are willing to train on cold mornings when no cameras are recording. Everyone wants financial freedom. Few are willing to become financially disciplined. Do you see the pattern? People are fascinated by the destination. Life is transformed by the journey. And here's something I wish more people understood. Your focus is being competed for every single minute. Not every day, every minute. There are businesses worth billions of dollars whose success depends on keeping your attention. Every notification, every headline, every endless scroll, every recommendation. Someone, somewhere, is working very hard to decide what you think about next. Now think about that. If you don't intentionally direct your attention, someone else gladly will. That means focus isn't simply a productivity skill anymore. It's an act of personal leadership. It's the decision to say, I will choose what enters my mind. Because whatever repeatedly enters your mind eventually begins shaping your beliefs. And beliefs quietly shape behavior. Behavior shapes habits. Habits shape character. Character shapes destiny. Everything begins with what consistently receives your attention. Years ago, I met a teacher who had spent decades working with young students. One afternoon, I asked her a question. What separates the children who eventually thrive from those who struggle? I expected her to talk about intelligence, or opportunity, or family background. Instead, she surprised me. She said, the ones who thrive learn how to stay with difficult things just a little longer. Just a little longer. Those words have stayed with me because quitting usually happens just before growth begins. Think about learning a language. The first weeks are frustrating. Learning an instrument, frustrating. Starting a business, frustrating. Building strength, frustrating. Saving money, frustrating. Changing habits, frustrating. Everything valuable asks the same question. Will you continue after the excitement disappears? That's the test. The excitement gets you started. Focus keeps you moving. There is a season in every worthwhile pursuit where nothing seems to happen. You study. Nothing changes. You practice. Nothing changes. You improve your habits. Nothing changes. At least that's what it feels like, but feelings can be deceptive. Imagine an ice cube sitting in a cold room. The temperature is 25 degrees. Nothing changes. 26. Nothing changes. 27 still looks exactly the same. 28, 29, 30, 31. No visible difference. Then the room reaches 32 degrees. Suddenly the ice begins to melt. Now here's the mistake people make. They think the melting happened at 32 degrees. It didn't. It happened because of everything that came before it. Every degree mattered, even when nothing appeared to change. Your life works exactly the same way. The workout you almost skipped mattered. The chapter you almost didn't read mattered. The difficult conversation you finally had mattered. The decision to wake up 30 minutes earlier mattered. The choice to save instead of spend mattered. The choice to keep learning after everyone else stopped mattered. Those are your invisible degrees. One day the breakthrough comes. People see the breakthrough. They don't see the hundreds of invisible degrees that made it possible. And that's why comparison is so dangerous. You're comparing someone's visible moment to your invisible process. You see their success. You don't see their sacrifices. You see their confidence. You don't see the years they spent doubting themselves but refusing to stop. You see the finished building. You never witnessed the thousands of bricks. Stop comparing your beginning to someone else's middle. Stop comparing your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20. Everyone has a different starting point. Everyone carries different burdens. Everyone fights battles you may never know about. Your responsibility isn't to outrun everyone else. Your responsibility is to become more intentional than you were yesterday. That's a race. You can always win. I remember speaking with a young entrepreneur who told me he had failed 3 businesses. His voice carried disappointment. He believed those years had been wasted. I asked him to describe what he had learned from each attempt. As he talked, something fascinating happened. He explained how he had learned to communicate better, how he had learned to manage money, how he had learned to hire carefully, how he had learned to solve problems under pressure. By the time he finished speaking, I smiled. I said, "You think you lost businesses. I think you built a person." Sometimes life is developing you before it delivers what you've been asking for. Because if success arrives before you're prepared to carry it, success can become a burden instead of a blessing. Preparation often looks like delay, but delay isn't always denial. Sometimes delay is training. Sometimes the waiting season is strengthening muscles that success will require. Think about an archer. Before an arrow moves forward, it must first be pulled backward. If the arrow could speak, it might believe its life was moving in the wrong direction. It would feel resistance. It would feel pressure. It would wonder why everything seemed to be going backward. But the backward pull isn't punishment. It's preparation for forward momentum. Perhaps you've been measuring your life by what isn't happening yet. Maybe you've been asking, why am I not there already? Instead, ask yourself, what is this season trying to teach me? Because every season has an assignment. Some seasons teach patience. Some teach courage. Some teach humility. Some teach resilience. Some teach you how to stand alone. Some teach you how to begin again after disappointment. And every lesson you embrace becomes part of the foundation you're building beneath your future. There is another trap that steals focus from countless people. The need for perfect conditions. I'll start when life settles down. I'll begin when I have more money. I'll get serious next month. I'll wait until I know enough. Listen carefully. Perfect conditions are one of the greatest illusions ever invented. Life has never promised ideal circumstances. It has only offered daily opportunities. The person who waits for perfect weather often misses the planting season. The person who plants despite imperfect weather is usually the one harvesting later. Courage isn't moving without fear. Courage is refusing to let fear become your decision maker. And focus gives courage somewhere to look. Instead of staring at every obstacle, focus keeps returning your eyes to the next step. Not the next 100, the next one. One page, one call, one workout, one honest conversation, one disciplined choice. You don't climb a mountain by reaching the summit in a single leap. You climb it by refusing to stop taking the next faithful step. even when the path disappears into the clouds. Hey, have you ever noticed how easily the mind creates stories? You miss one day of practice, and the mind whispers, "You've ruined everything." You make one mistake, and suddenly the mind says, "Maybe you're just not good enough." You face one rejection, and it tries to convince you that every future door will close as well. The mind is powerful, but it must be trained. If you leave a garden unattended, weeds don't ask permission before they grow. The same is true of your thinking. Negativity grows naturally. Purpose grows intentionally. That is why every morning, before the world begins making demands of your attention, there is tremendous value in spending a few quiet moments asking yourself one simple question: what kind of person will I practice being today? Not, what will I accomplish? Not, what will I receive? But, who will I become through the way I live this day? Because when you become the kind of person who values focus over distraction, discipline over impulse, and purpose over convenience, your decisions begin to change almost without effort. You start noticing opportunities that once slipped past you. You begin protecting your mornings, guarding your evenings, speaking with greater intention, and investing your energy where it produces lasting results. Then one day, someone who hasn't seen you in years looks at your life and says, "You seem different." And they think the difference happened suddenly without ever realizing it was being built in hundreds of ordinary moments that most people would have overlooked. Before I leave you with this thought, I want you to remember something that may stay with you for the rest of your life. Years from now, there will come a quiet moment. Maybe you'll be sitting alone in your home. Maybe you'll be watching your children grow. Maybe you'll be looking out of a window at the life you've built. And in that moment, you won't be asking yourself how many hours you had. You'll be asking yourself what you did with them. Time has never been the greatest gift. Attention has, focus has. The courage to choose what truly matters has. Because every sunrise has been handing you a blank page, and every sunset has been asking one question: what story did you write today? Don't wait for a better season. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait until confidence magically appears. The life you've been dreaming about is not waiting on another calendar year. It is waiting on another decision. The smallest decision, repeated consistently, becomes the biggest turning point of your life. Never underestimate the quiet power of one disciplined day. One disciplined day becomes a disciplined week. A disciplined week becomes a disciplined month. A disciplined month becomes a disciplined year. And one day, people will look at your life and call it extraordinary. They will see the success. They will never see the thousands of ordinary moments when you chose purpose over comfort, growth over excuses, discipline over distraction, and focus over fear. There are two kinds of pain waiting for every human being: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One weighs ounces today. The other weighs tons for a lifetime. Choose carefully. Because regret has a voice that grows louder with age. It whispers about the book you never wrote, the business you never started, the apology you never gave, the dream you abandoned, the potential you left unexplored. Don't give regret that story to tell. Instead, become the person who can look back decades from now and say, I didn't let fear decide my future. I didn't let distractions steal my purpose. I showed up. I kept going. I became who I was capable of becoming. Your future is not being created someday. It is being created today in the next decision, the next habit, the next hour, the next promise you keep to yourself. And never forget this: you are far more capable than your doubts would have you believe. There is more strength inside you than you've had to use, more courage than you've been forced to discover, more wisdom than you've been willing to trust. Your greatest chapter has not already been written. It is waiting for the moment you stop wishing for a different life and start building one. So when you leave here today, don't carry inspiration alone. Carry commitment, Don't chase motivation. Docrecate momentum. Don't ask whether you have enough time. Ask it whether you're giving your best attention to what matters most. Stand up tomorrow with a different standard. Guard your focus. Honor your word. Protect your purpose. Keep the promises you make to yourself, especially when no one is watching, because that is where destiny quietly changes.